Tell me, would you deliver all the presents on time because you're Santa Claus? Or are you Santa Claus because you deliver all the presents on time? What's up, guys? That guy with the pencil here, and happy holidays. Here we are to do a nice little ranking of every single Jujutsu Kaisen character and how well they play Old Saint Yuck, how good they would be as Santa Claus. Now, there will be multiple different criteria going into this list based on appearance, ability to change appearance, the speed, velocity, and potency of the presents, their mentality that goes into it, how much they respect the spirit of Christmas themselves, and oh so much more. So we have a whole hefty little chunk to talk about. So let's not waste any more time and let's hop right into it. Editing me, ready, 3, 2, 1, go. What's up, guys? That guy with a pencil here. Fun fact, I do happen to have it on me and keep it on me at all times. And another fun fact, JUJUTSU Kaisen sure does have a lot of characters. A lot. But of course, with a whole bunch of characters, there are a whole bunch of tiers to sort these characters into. So, we have a couple to cover. We have literally Santa. Like, these might as well just be jolly old Saint Nick themselves in every way, shape, or form. They could do it. They could 100% deliver all the presents on time. They would have the answer to the existential crisis of whether or not they're Santa because of the presents or are they presents because of the Santa. Absolutely. Indubitably. We have a solid CLAUS, aka they're really, really good at it. Like, they are pretty much up there. All they're missing is maybe a little bit of a round belly, a little bit of beard, maybe a lack of ability in one area or two areas. You know, they're still really, really good though. Then we have decent enough, you know, like they could be a mall Santa. They can sit there, you know, for the hours. They can help the kids out. It wouldn't be a menace to society or anything like that. So we're good. Then we have the decent enough Santas. I mean, we already have kind of bad though. Kind of bad. It's like they're not awful. They're not terrible, but they aren't good. They aren't even really decent. They aren't decent enough like that. Then we have awful. They're just terrible. Terrible Santas probably shouldn't be around children, all the stuff like that. Then we have the liabilities. Like, it may actually be dangerous giving them the role of Santa because of the things they would get up to with that kind of power and ability. And of course, we have help the children. Whereas in someone save them if this character decides to be Santa Claus. If they decide to be Santa Claus, you need to save the kids from them because golly, something terrible is going to happen to them. And finally, you have filth. And we're going to fill out that tier first. Only one character goes in filth. Where is it? Where is it? It's not a he. It's not a she. It barely deserves it. Where is it? I know you're here. Oh, you disgust me. I despise it with every fiber of my being. If it were to ever attempt to take the moniker of Santa, I myself would appear and smite it my very self. I want you to know that I don't care about how fitting it could be, or how fitting it should be, or how he would probably, no, it would probably actually like it. But right now, the only present I need for Christmas is that thing gone. So, KK, please grant my Christmas wish. But with that being the case, let's actually hop into the ranking itself. So we have I don't remember enough about this character. It's just that I assume she's decent enough. This is the guy with the curse technique that stops all healing's older sister. I mean, I assume she'd be decent enough. She seems sweet enough in her very limited appearances. Nanami was able to save her. She very clearly cared about the students, so was more than willing to help them. But I don't think she'd really be able to like fit the Santa motif. But I could see her. She would like fit around. She wouldn't get in any trouble being Santa Claus. She wouldn't cause any trouble. It also wouldn't be the best. I think kids would be able to tell, okay, that's not really Santa Claus. I also couldn't see her having the ability to deliver all the presents in one night. So she'd probably be that one of those local mall Santas working the 9 to 5, trying to get a little bit of money up for the Christmas season and pay for them presents. Okay, you know, solid enough. Moving on to the next one, we have Angel. I may have to put it down. We'll put Angel / Hana in kind of. She clearly did not have a stable childhood growing up. Like, why else would you accept Angel into your body and like actually have a symbiotic relationship with them? And clearly, like, the last time she went for presents, she ended up being like the victim of a curse So he probably doesn't have that many good memories associated with Christmas or anything like that. And plus, he probably has never properly experienced it. So I don't think Angel slash Hana would actually be that good of a Santa Claus. She would be kind of bad. Like, it wouldn't be awful. It wouldn't be terrifying. But like, what if she accidentally activates Jacob's ladder, and just drops it on him? Because she gets like a horror flashback when some kid tries to ask her for something, and they ask for like a fishing rod, and then she gets fishing rod flashbacks with that curse that was fishing rodding with her and all those other kids, and then suddenly she starts freaking out and activates her maximum technique and vaporizes the entire building. Like, I don't know. Considering the light erases evil, and kids, so like I'm not sure. I'm not sure Angel would honestly. You know what? I'm gonna have to put her in liability. She could genuinely be in danger if she starts freaking out and starts launching off, because no one will be able to stop her. No one will be able to stop her. If she were Santa, nowhere near. The only reason I'm not putting her in help the kids is because she could fly. She could drop them off. She could carry the kids to the present. Like, she could do something, but she's more a liability than asset in terms of being Santa Claus. The younger brother, once again, another decent enough, seems like a sweet enough guy. I don't even put him above his sister. He has a curse technique. If someone's not feeling all too well, he can activate his curse technique on them, make them feel better, say it's one of the Christmas gifts. But ultimately, I just don't see him delivering the presents on time. I don't think his rapping skills are all too great, whether they be like actual rapping or rapping, whichever one you think is of those two scenarios, yes. For that, also with the fact that he kind of just seems a little bit too soft for the job, I think he can be fine. Like, he's clearly socially well-adjusted enough that I don't think he'd be a liability or kind of bad or get in the way at all. And, honestly, you put the right kind of beard on him. You, tell him to put his hair up in one of those buns, and he puts, the wig over it. He actually covers it up with the cap. Them caps that, come with the white Santa fluff. I mean, you could do it. Then, he obviously already wears a suit. He's used to wearing things that make you hot. So, just put him in one of those big old jolly red suits. You sit him up there on the lap, or not on the lap, Santa on Santa action. Not in that way, but maybe in that way. Who knows? We may get to that in a bit. But I think you could put him relatively decent. I think he could pull off a pretty decent Santa, but I don't really see him going above and beyond and reaching the levels of a solid Claus or literally Santa. Kusakabe, he's going to be our first literally Santa. I could see him doing it. For enough, if you gave him the option of being Santa or going on a mission, he would 100% choose to be Santa. And I bet he has an outfit pre-prepared and everything. He's already got the candy on. He's got the lollipops for all the kids. So he's ready and prepared. His hair isn't actually all too long. You could easily cover that with one of those big old Santa hats. It wouldn't take too long. Get him a nice big old fluffy beard. He would definitely just round out the belly nice and quick. He'd probably expand his simple domain around his belly button. And then boom, he fills out the coat real nice and well. He'd be able to help the kids a whole bunch. Actually, you know what? I'm going to slide him down to solid Claus, mainly because I don't see him having the speed or velocity to route the presents all too well. And I think he would get kind of tired, but I can see it. I have the vision. Kusakame being able to dole out presents at Mach speed. I could see him doing it. It's just that, he'd be kind of disingenuous with it. He wouldn't have that pure Santa Claus energy, if you know what I'm talking about. He'd be into it for the fact that he got out of a mission for it, but he wouldn't really be dedicated to the bit like a true literal Santa would be. So Kusakame, he's got it. But he hasn't got it that much. He's not that insane. He's not that crazy with it. But he is pretty darn crazy with it. Awasaka. I joked, but I wasn't joking, about Angel possibly having fishing rod flashbacks and, flash banging the kids. Just straight boom, dropping a heavenly light on top of them. Awasaka would directly harm the kids. Directly harm the kid. It is literally, there's no way this man. And the thing, what the sad thing is, he has the perfect build. He'd be a little short Santa. He'd be a little bit stubby, which also kind of throws off the whole Santa vibe. But I could see you try to put the Christmas hat on him, and he just goes to stab you. It would be instantaneous. A kid would ask him what he wanted for Christmas, and he'd be like, "I'm gonna take your life instead," and then he'd try to snap it out. Honestly, I don't see Awasaka pulling off the smoothest of Santas. I think he's more liability than asset in the Great Santa debacle, and honestly, I don't think I could really give it to him. I think he's more of a liability than even Angel / Hana would be. I think he's genuinely, you gotta call the kids for help on this one. Claw guy, right? I just don't really see it. He doesn't seem like the kind of guy who would go for it. He seems so focused on the mission and serving somebody else. Maybe if Reggie asked him to do it or told him to do it and told him somehow it was for killing game points, maybe. The only reason he's not going in straight liability or help the kids is because I don't think he's like a child attacker. We didn't get enough of him to really get that vibe, unlike the vibe we got from Alasaga. And I think if he was asked and like you buttered him up a bit, you told me he'd get like 50 killing games points, or you give him a little bit of money, a little bit of bread to be fine. The only thing is he's gonna need the extra big old red gloves, because I'm not sure if he can like despawn those claws at all. So like either you stab him with the inverted spear of heaven or you put some gloves on. And I think he'd be bad, awful. He wouldn't want to wear the wig, or heaven forbid you try to put a beard on him, but he wouldn't actually start like attacking the children. At least that's my view from what little we know of that character. You know what? I know it sounds weird. I'm kind of gonna put this guy from the Zenin clan in decent enough. He kind of already has the look to him, and notably, he has the least amount of hair, even less than Awasaka, ironically enough, that we've talked about so far. So you put that wig on top of him, you put the beard on. He kind of already has that nice old buttery voice. I can already hear it in the anime. I could tell absolutely this guy would kind of make it well. He's a little bit beefy, but I feel like you could like slide a nice little fake belly on him, put him in the red coat. He definitely has like the ability to carry a whole bunch of kids, get the presents already in massive order. Remember, this is the guy with the massive earth hands. Whenever he touches the ground, he can make his own little throne of Santas, his own little step up Santas. Honestly, the only reason I think you may get kids worried and a little bit scared is because he has black sclera, and like unlike contacts where you could hypothetically switch out like what your pupils and your irises, I don't know why irises left my mind. You could swap out irises pretty well, pretty decently enough. It's hard to swap out black sclera, so that's why I'm going to put him in decent enough. Honestly, he could be a solid CLAUS. I feel like whenever the Zenin family does do Christmas, he's probably the default one they go to. He seems like the easiest one and the easiest to convince. Like, obviously, you know, he's part of the Hay, but like, he's not that high level. He's not Naoya. He's not the other brothers. Like, obviously, I think he'd actually be pretty decent. You know, I'm not gonna lie. Choso, he could literally do anything and everything. You know how he's able to like leak infinite amounts of his own life juice? All he does is target that all into his belly, expand it into a nice big old round belly. He could literally have the permanent rosy cheeks. I want you to realize that. He already looks half asleep at the time. He's pale as a ghost. He might as well live at the North Pole. So you imagine him puffing up them nice little rosy cheeks, so he has that. You know, if Itadori asked him, he was like, Choso, big brother, Onichan, I need a Santa. You know Choso would be able to do it. If he needed to get the presents done quickly, he'd activate flowing red scale stack and just start boom, boom. Well, you know, he has the perfect technique behind it. Honestly, the only hypothetical, there are really no issues. He seems like the sweetest kind of guy, especially if his brothers were involved, if Esso Kechizu and Itadori were there, along with the rest of his little brothers. You know, he'd be so happy to do it. He'd be the one that's like waiting for everyone to go to sleep, and then he's running into the closet to get the presents out that he got for him. And then honestly, I could legit see him on like jet boosters formed of BM that he's just flying around the world, dropping present, dropping present, dropping present, dropping present. He seems like a sweet kind of guy. I think he could play literally every single role, from the gift wrapper to the gift maker, because he has 150 years of experience. He doesn't, but we'll say he does. And top that off with the fact that he's kind of just like a sweet guy, or generally like first 100% wholesome sweet guy in the list outside of like these two, but with actual like speed, combat ability and stuff like that would allow him to properly Santa it up. I think low-key we got a good fit for our main man, Choso. I think Choso's kind of our first W literally Santa. He's going to be one of our better options too, because he could flat out do it. Oh. I thought that was someone else. He'd eat the kids. He would eat the kids, Kurushi. I'm sorry. There was like half a second. If you believe in many worlds theory, there's another universe where I'm currently trying to justify Kurushi as literally Santa, but unfortunately in this world line I cannot. I refuse. It's Kurushi, dog. I'm sorry. He's literally like. I'm gonna have to add a tier buff. I'm gonna have to add a tier buff real quick, dog. like, like he's just going to consume them. He's going like that is literally he's going to say, "I love the taste of iron." He's going to immediately go for it. You try to put a Santa hat on, he's going to eat your hand. You try to put a Santa beard on, he's going to eat your hands. You try to breathe near him, he's going to eat your hand. Like, come on. It's Karoshi. I can't defend. I wish I could. I wish I could muster the argument. You know what? We're even going to make his bright red. Just so you know, he is going to consume the children. He's going to, he's going to consider it like a buffet. You make him a ball Santa. The only thing is, the only reason I may put him in help, like, no, he's going to eat the children. He's just going to eat the children. The only reason I'm putting him, I even have half a thought, is because he could use his, like, army of cockroaches to, like, fly around the world. If he could just control all the cockroaches in the universe, like, can you imagine? Can you imagine the kind of numbers he could get with? But, like, he'd probably just use those to collect more children. I'm sorry, I can't. I defend you a whole lot, bro. I think you so much scale to Yuta, but I can't give you much more than that. Rika, like notably, Rika Orimoto, like the human girl, is like noted in a data book extra or like in a chapter extra to be like extremely weird and like implied to have offed her own parents. Like her own grandma believes that, oh no, that girl's evil. Like she did it because when people couldn't find her parents, she's like. So Rika already was apparently just insane and crazy and terrifying as a human. So like you give her cursed energy, boundless amounts of it, and no inhibitions. Like help the children. She won't eat them. she's one level above Karushi. I don't think we've ever seen Rika go. Like she doesn't try to eat it. She did bite off Earl's arm. Like she could have easily ripped it off. We won't put her in the same level Karushi, but she's definitely alive. I would not trust Rika. The sad thing is, though, in terms of a sheer power front, she'd be one of the best. She would literally be one of the best because she could just teleport everywhere and just drop present. But unless she's under direct Yuta control, we'll bring up Rika again. When we get to a later character, we'll bring up Rika again and as how effective she could be as a Santa surrogate or a Santa helper, as like a big old elf. Maybe we could talk about that right now. I can't picture Rika as anything more than a liability when trying to be Santa. Oh, sweet Mother Mercy. It's terrifying just to think about. Dagon. It's the only reason he's going in kind of bad is because I can't think of a way to do it. But he has the power. And like if you told him it was for the goodness of cursed kind and like it would bring Jogo, Hanami, and well not Jogo, if it would bring Hanami back, I think he'd be willing to do it, but it's just that appearance, bro. Like I can't imagine. Like he already kind of does have the belly. We've seen him literally puff up his belly. So he could get the big round Santa jolly belly. And he does have enough raw power, right? Like he's the master of the ocean, so he could deliver presents all around. But it's just the appearance. I know it sounds so bad, but like no amount of wigs and fake beards is doing it for that one. The man literally has tentacle mouth, and not in the way that most people are into that. I was about to say, you know what? No, a lot of people probably be into Dagon's tentacle mouth, but not me, and not the kids who he needs to suddenly be a mall Santa for, or just a Santa in general. Like the only reason he's going in kind of bad is because I could see him be willing to deliver and act out the generic role, but unlike Choso, unlike Nita or his sister, or even unlike the Zenigata, I don't see any sort of disguise working. You would have to fundamentally restructure Dagon in either of his forms to somehow make him fit as Santa. So unfortunately, I can't give that to him. Druv, just a liability. I could see him dominating or like wanting to dominate over the children. That sounds bad, but like literally just wanting to like control them all and be like, yes, you will serve under me in my new empire. Yada, yada, yada. We get like 1 panel, 2 panels of Druv, 3 total maybe. So we have no idea about his personality, but he was a warlord. I don't know much about warlords, but presumably they aren't too nice to the kids. And like, sure, he kind of already has the pot belly. He already has the beard. You could probably put a wig on it. Like, you could make it work. But I could just see him summoning his Shikigami and not using him to make presents or wrap presents or do anything good. You know, he'd summon his Shikigami to try and conquer the peninsula again. Like straight. Like, there's no other way to it. He would just do that. And I can't support that. Not as my Santa. Not my Santa. I'm sorry, Drew. We can't give you that one. Who is this? Esso, I do believe. Esso or Kechizu. Honestly, solid enough. Actually, you know what? I'll put it top of decent enough. Once again, they kind of do have a lot of the same perks as Choso. Their rot technique is basically just knockoff blood manipulation. But I don't think you could convince them to put on the costume. I think you could convince them to do the work. Like, they would hypothetically wrap the presents. They would maybe sit on the chair and stuff like that. They may be able to, may be willing and able to interact with the kids. But I just don't see them willing to, like, swell up their physique and get that big old round pot belly. I don't see them giving themselves that permanent blush that you need. I think, like, they wouldn't even like covering up their hair for the wig that you need to put them on for Santa. But I could see them doing the hard labor. I could see them definitely doing the hard labor, especially if it was for Esso. Or is this, I forget which one is which. I always forget their names. They're so irrelevant and stupid and waste of characters. Which one is Esso and which one is Keshizu? Hold on. Esso, JJ. I think Esso's the ugly one, right? No, this one's Esso. Keshizu's the ugly one. Well, both of them are ugly. I'll be completely real with you. But yeah, Esso, I think decent enough. The Finger Bearer. We'll put them and help the kids, because unlike these two, I don't think the Finger Bearer eats people, but it will just light them up with an arrow. Like, it would go, and then just launch a curse and she blasts out. So, I don't see it. I can't see it. I cannot see it. The Finger Bearer, the Finger Bearer, ultimately, while they may be one of the mightiest creatures in the entire series, I can't even begin to argue that they'd be remotely a good Santa candidate. I'm sorry, this is not in their cards. Gakuganji? Here's the thing. The only reason they aren't literally Santa, because I could see them playing. I can see them fully putting on the costume. I can see everything. But let me double check. I think Gakuganji has a similar issue to what a lot of our other cast and crew has in this series for some reason. Gakuganji, I think he has Black Sclera again. So, like, that would kind of, yeah. In fact, he doesn't even seem to have pupils. Yeah, he has full Black Sclera and the occasional pupil. That's just not gonna fly. You can't change that. So that'll scare off the kids, but I know he does it. Especially for the Kyoto school. Like, he plays Santa every single year. I know for a fact he puts on the pot belly. He puts like stuffing in his arms to get the nice puffy arms. He actually lets Utahime put blush on his cheeks and everything. He covers up their baldness with Santa hair and hat. He puts on the full beard. He like rolls up his beard, slides it in the new beard pocket. Like, he's definitely willing to. But with the Black Sclera kind of killing the whole thing, because can you imagine looking at Santa and there's just nothing there? Just so dark pits of coal for eyes. Like, there's that. And the fact that I just don't think his power, whether it be physically or like curse technique wise, would be useful as Santa. Like, he can infuse sound waves with his cursed energy. Unlike Choso, I could see using flowing red scale stack and like blood manipulation jet boots to fly around the world and be Santa and have enough stamina and ability to do it, and the willingness. I see Gakuganji, he has the willingness. He has the desire. He has the want, he just doesn't have the ability. Unfortunately, Gakuganji, I'm sorry, broski. I just can't let this one slide. Maharaga. No, wait. Here's the thing. If it's untamed Maharaga, help the children. Help the children. Sweet Mother of Mercy. Heavens forbid they're included in the ritual. Maharaga's gonna boom. Heavens forbid they're near the ritual. Maharaga's gonna boom. Maharaga's gonna go insane. But if Sukuna were to summon Maharaga on Christmas and say, "Be the one to save Christmas, Maharaga," he may literally be. Hold on. He may literally be the best Santa in the entire series. He would adapt. He would just adapt. He would literally just go, nah, I'd adapt, and he would literally, unlike others where you kind of have to like have Choso do some kind of body horror stuff by puffing up his belly, or you have to like add makeup to things like Esso or Gakuganji. No, Maharaga you would smack Maharaga with a picture of Santa, just smack it straight across the face. The wheel would click immediately. It would suddenly grow a thick old fluffy beard. Its tail head thing, it would turn into a gigantic Santa hat. The wings would suddenly fluff up into hair. It would develop the perfect Kris Kringle eyes. It would get the big round pot belly. Its Pants, it would spontaneously grow the Santa suit from pants to coat to boots to everything. And if you smack him with a picture of the reindeer, bada bing, bada boom, there will now be reindeer. All those dogs and frogs that appear when they summon it, instantly the same amount of reindeer, and it will make every single present just in time for everybody. Maharaga can either be the worst enemy of Christmas outside of this filth, or it could literally save Christmas itself. Maharaga could be Santa, and honestly, with the right intentions and the right summoner, beautiful. Santa personified. But of course, that's light. That's light. Santa Claus from Maharaga, that's some light work. Liability. Here's the thing, right? If we're talking about Ghetto doing Sorcerer Christmas, he would literally be up here. Ghetto, he would absolutely go full on with the bit, be 9 out of 10 times for all of that. He would, I bet he was. I bet for the longest time he was the Santa Claus of his little friend group, getting everyone presents, making everything look all cute and nice and wonderful, having his curses come help him wrap the presents up, whether they have hands or not have hands. But after his little switch, I presume that he doesn't like that the filthy monkeys made Christmas. And he probably wouldn't like it. He may genuinely be just a straight liability. I could see, you know what? He would actually be in help the kids. He would genuinely be in help. He's not a liability. Because the moment a monkey came and tried to sit in his lap and ask him for something, he'd be like, oh, I have a gift for you. And he would have them consumed by one of his, maybe, but like he himself wouldn't eat the kids. His curses would. Help or eat, help or eat, help or eat. Oh, we'll put him at the bottom, so he's very close to eat. Yeah, Ghetto, unfortunately, while he does have insane potential, could literally be the perfect Santa with his whole literal multi-million army of curses, or his 406,000 curses. No, 4,600 something curses. He could be perfect. But unfortunately, he just doesn't like those filthy monkeys. I'm sorry, the Frieza comes out. But with that being the case, this guy, I don't know. He seems so strict. Like I kind of don't think. He'd be awful. He'd be awful as Santa. I don't know. He seems so about the business. He's like, oh, we don't have curse techniques. We all suck. So we're gonna train super duper. He'd be like, oh, well, Christmas is a waste of time. I don't know why you all do this every single year. It's so stupid. So yeah, honestly, I think he'd be kind of awful. I don't think he's a liability though. I don't see him randomly spazzing out and like attacking one of the children like either of these two would. And I don't see him like actually being a genuine threat to the children's safety consistently like these three or anyone below. And he's not exactly filth. He'd just be bad at it. He would do the exact bare minimum. He doesn't even wrap the presents. He just throws them under a tree if he does that. Let me slide him to the top. He could literally be Santa. He's already halfway there. He has the white hair. And the thing is, with Satoru Gojo, he has enough money. He is super old money, plus all the money he makes being the strongest sorcerer. He could literally buy the entire world presents and have money left over. He has the ability to teleport everywhere, so he doesn't even need the reindeer. He could just boop, 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 boop. It wouldn't take too much makeup. He's already consistently blushing. Just tape a picture of Ghetto to his face, and then bada bing, bada boom, he's going to be blushing out the wazoo. So he's going to have those nice little rosy cheeks. You put the beard on him. He already has the perfect sparkling blue North Pole eyes. You put the cap on him. You can kind of just tussle his hair a little bit, make it more curly rather than spiky, and we're good. He's literally Santa. Like maybe put a little fake belly on him, and he could literally take care of, save whatever Christmas. He'd be the perfect Christmas person. He'd be the Omega and the Alpha. He is Santa Claus. Like even more than Maharaga. The only reason he's above Maharaga is because Maharaga would need to adapt. Gojo Satoru does not need to adapt. He is quite literally Santa Claus. Then, of course, yeah, another another of the of the little gaggle. Like we literally see him eating people. Like yeah, obviously the grasshopper curse would not be good. This guy, he's liability. Honestly, I feel like he would take it. I'm gonna put him in liability because I think he'd take it as a day job. Like sure, he's an assassin by day, but like what does he do by nighttime? You know, when all the assassin jobs are taken up and it's getting a little bit too hard for the old man to see, he already got the looks, he's got the nice wrinkles built in, you put a cap on him, put a beard on him, I think he could do it, but like if he got a call or if he was looking for a mark, yeah, he's definitely a liability. Helicopter Man, I need y'all to hear me out. I need y'all to hear me out. hear me when I say he's actually kind of decent. Kind of. Now, hear me out. He can fly. And honestly, he's built beefy enough that if you put a pot belly on him and you give him the Santa cloak and the Santa hat and beard, I think but the helicopter hat kind of gets in the way. I didn't think about that. Oh, actually, no. He could make the Santa hat the helicopter hat. Perfect. We're all good. He's decent enough. He is willing to attack children, but I don't think he's doing it consistently enough. This isn't Cunning Games. He'd be fine. Kashimo. Honestly, but Kashimo would pat the kid on the back twice and then immediately automatically hit them with lightning because of his cursed energy drain. Kashimo would be horrible. Help the children who have Kashimo as their gift giver. God, even if it wasn't intentional, he doesn't see the value in other people unless they're as strong as him. So if he tried to do anything for other people, it would only be someone who beat him. And unless he's slopping off Sugan over Christmas, being the ultimate little present, wrapped up, oiled up, BBN under the tree for Sukuna, I don't see him doing anything Christmas-wise, so he's definitely a liability. Akari Kinji. I'd say, you know what? I'd say he's kind of bad. I don't know. I don't see him, because he'd be all this presents, all this stupid stuff's a waste of time. It's getting so cold. This doesn't fit with the fever. So he would, if Kirara asked him to do it, and Gojo asked him to do it, he'd probably be fine with it, but he wouldn't put on the beard. He may put on the hat. He's going to be it's going to mess up my head. Hold on, let me put something on that. And I don't see him put on the pot belly or anything like that. And his quirk, oh lord, I switched to My Hero Academia. His curse technique doesn't really feed into the whole idea. Even if he were to somehow get consistent jackpots at random, I guess, sure, he could run around the planet and make a whole bunch of presents back to back. But I think he'd be a little bit too lost in the sauce to do that properly. So I'm not sure. I'm not entirely seeing Hakari as Santa. Helicopter Girl. I don't know, same place as her man. Put a belly on it, put a beard on it, put a hat on it. I think it could work. Haruta, he's a liability, but he'd probably do it. Enough money, enough cash, enough fat stacks. Because if you give him the costume freely, he'd do it, but the thing is, he'd probably get bored and try to stab one of the children. Also, his curse technique sucks for delivering presents. What can I say? Higuruma. Now, you want to talk about a solid CLAUS. The only reason he's not literally Santa is because Higuruma's curse technique doesn't really give him the ability to be everywhere at once. Unlike these three up here who could kind of just do what they need to do, whenever they need to do it, they would adapt. They would adapt the ability to do it whether they had it instantaneously like Gojo or not. Higuruma, he'd be more than willing to dress up. He definitely makes and wraps the presents himself. They're all personal, attuned to their very specific individual. He uses Judge Man to get all the information on the present maker or on the person he's making the present for, all of that. He'd be more than willing to trade out his suit and tie, his three-piece suit for a Santa suit in a heartbeat, but unfortunately he just doesn't have that next tier top level ability to be literally Santa Claus. Ichichi, once again, another candidate of decent enough. I think I'm going to put him down here because just like these three, he doesn't. Well, actually, I'll put him below Nisa. And but it's the GOAT Ichichi. I'm going to put these three at the bottom, and because these two, we don't know if they have any abilities outside basic barrier creation. So while he'd definitely do it, and he'd be more than willing to, and he'd be willing to pull in the full suit and everything, I just don't see him being able to do the proper meanings of Santa Claus and really being able to fulfill the true meaning of Christmas. Wait, that's different. We're not going to talk about Mahito yet. Hazanoki. Yeah, he'd be pretty, he'd light the children up. He'd be putting out fireworks, and they wouldn't be pretty. I mean, they may be pretty, but they would not be good. Yeah, Hazanoki's awful. Mahito, we'll put him in help the kids because we don't see Mahito eat people. So we'll put him. Nah, we gotta put him at the bottom help. He's basically here. It's just that we've never seen him actually try to consume one. So you know, the sad thing is, Mahito could literally turn into Santa. Gojo would need some alterations, Maharaga needed some adaptations, but Mahito could literally just transform into Santa if he really wanted to, but he wouldn't. He wouldn't. He wouldn't want to. He would do it just to mess with Itadori Yuji and then like break his ankle or something like that's the only way I see Mahito doing anything remotely Santa related. If not just he would turn the kids into presents. Like the shapes of present boxes. That's what Mahito would do. You cannot not Mahito. Not Mahito. Utahime, another one decent enough. Unfortunately, her technique just doesn't really allow all too much for it. And I could see her like getting insulted by one of the kids for not looking enough like Santa, and her actually getting a little bit annoyed and not rolling with the flow a bit because you know how we see her interact with Satoru Gojo. So you know, she should be decent enough, but overall not too crazy. Not a real solid CLAUS in my opinion. Once again, her ability doesn't help out all too much with that. Junichi, I mean, you know what? I think he'd be nope, way too much hair. Another one going in decent enough, but unlike these bottom four, his ability could actually pertain with the gigantic mega hands. Imagine him carrying a bunch of presents. He probably like supports this guy. When he's playing Santa, he carries all the presents for the Zenin family in his mega energy hands while he's carrying some of them in his mega earth hands, and they kind of just work together on that. But he's more so like the buff elf that falls around the Zenin Santa rather than the Zenin Santa himself. So I'm going to give Junichi that. Jogo, are the kids curses? Are the kids curses? Nah, the kids probably aren't curses. He literally light them on fire. Yeah, I'm gonna put him at the bottom with Mahito. Mahito would be a little bit more sadistic though, so I'm gonna put him at the bottom. Jogo would literally light the kids on fire. Like I don't think there's any other way to put it. He would just light them on fire. Like there's no way he could be Santa. And also the one eye thing. Like you really aren't getting past that. Same thing with Hanami. Just another no eye thing. Like no eyes, super buff, tree branch, can't even communicate. At least Jogo can communicate traditionally. Hanami cannot, and also would likely just try to pierce the kids with plants. Also not good. This is literally just Mahito again. Junpei, he'd be awful. He'd literally be awful. I'm sorry. There's no way Junpei, someone as negatively steeped in negativity and pain and agony like him, he'd be on the naughty list. He would not be a good Santa. He could do it, but there's you know what? He's actually a liability. He's not here with Haruta because there's a possibility that he just activates moon dregs on a kid who asked for something a little bit too expensive. I can't do it. I can't do it. Coat rack man, help the children, please. Kenjaku. You know what the crazy thing is? Kenjaku is Santa. Kenny is Santa. I need y'all to hear me out. Kenny is Santa, and here's why. Because he literally is. Have you seen Santa and Kenny in the same room? I rest my case. Let's see. Kiarara? I'd say decent enough. They try. They definitely try. But once again, their ability probably wouldn't help out all too much. So how did you end up all the way over here? Jeez, chill out. But yeah, I think Kiarara would try. They'd be willing to go through all the makeup, the outfit adjustment, all that. Like I think it works out relatively decently. Actually, let me go back to Kenjaku. The reason Kenjaku Santa because he has cursed spirit manipulation in Geto's body, the willingness to shapeshift his body in any way, shape, and or form, literally hop into a Santa-based body and do literally everything with those abilities. He can also probably just fly. But with that being the case, yeah, Kiarara would be fine. Kokichi Muda. No, you really want it. Whoa, Pencil Man. Why is Kokichi Muda suddenly literally Santa Claus? And to that I say, an army of mechanical elves, a mechanical fleet of reindeer, and he'd be willing to dress up if Miwa asked him to. You see the vision? You see you remember that whole army of Mekamarus? Like, I personally, I see the vision. I 100% see the visions. He'd be making the presents all year round for everybody. He'd be delivering them just like that, He'd be so quick and smooth and buttery with it. Absolutely. Kokichi Buddha is quite literally Santa Claus. I'm gonna have to lean into that one. We'll put on help the kids, because I don't think she eats people, but she does cut them up. So, yeah, she's a danger. Bagman? I mean, he'd be kind of bad, but I feel like if you paid him, he'd be willing to dress up. He already covers himself in a bag. And plus, he has clones. So he could do the Santa gift creation bit. I just don't think he'd really want to. In a similar vein to Hikari. I don't think he'd be bad at it. I just think he would. But I'll put him at the top of kind of bad, because his ability is actually kind of suited for being Santa. This is the guy with, stars on his chest, I do believe. I'll say he's decent enough. He's probably the person. Actually, no, he's kind of down there with Ghetto, except higher or lower because he can't sick curses on people. I'll put him slightly higher because he can't sick curses on people, but he also was one of Ghetto's followers, meaning he did not like regular people. Mai, she's awful. She refuses to comply with anything. Like, you try to tell her, please, Mai, put the Santa hat on, and she'd smack you, and then probably whip out her one curse energy shebang bang, and boom, for you daring to mess up her hair. She would never put on the extra pop, like nothing. I bet she doesn't even buy presents. She expects presents, but she doesn't buy them. She's one of those people. Nope, she'd be awful. The only reason she's not a liability is because I don't see her actually attacking any children. I don't think she'd do anything dangerous to the kids or anything like that. Like any of these group down here. Maki, I'll put her in kind of bad. I just don't see her playing along with it. The same like an appearance-based thing. Maki could definitely just like clean up, do the makeup, put on everything. I just think she'd be way too gruff. Like, she wouldn't really fit the Christmas spirit all too well. And while she does definitely have the ability, I just don't think she would really do it or be all that into it. Like, she would be reminded of how many presents she didn't get because this guy was the Zen in Christmas, Kris Kringle, and ultimately she'd be like, oh, Christmas, this stupid thing? No, I'm not doing that. And Nestle she may comply if you'd ask, but even then, I think she probably wouldn't. So she'd be kind of bad. If you forced her to do it, she would, but I don't think she'd be down for it. Who is this? That's Ghetto's reporter friend, right? You're going right down with the rest of the Ghetto family. You do not like people. Let's see. Oh, would you look at that? Another literal Santa. If you want to look me in the eyes and tell me that this man right here was not, this man was Santa. The only reason I'm half close to putting Yaga in filth with his beloved son, but like, no, he's literally Santa, bro. His whole thing is making toys. He loves to make presents. Especially whenever the young kids come to visit, he puts on the full attire. He shaves the beard every year so it doesn't even begin to peek out of his fluffy regular beard. He has his whole little army of toys, drag toys to every single location, has them all wrapping presents. Like, he'd be perfect. Yaga, honestly, I'll put Yaga even above like Choso because of the ease of delivery and access. Honestly, I'm gonna have to keep sliding Choso down. I keep meaning about Kenjaku. The thing is, I don't know. I could actually kind of see Kenny. I'll put Kenny at the bottom because Kenny could literally be Santa, but there's also like a 50-50 shot that Kenny eats the kids. But we're going to put him, keep Kenny at literally Santa. Oh my word. No. No. Catch it? No. Once again, Mekamaru, I'll put Mekamaru up with Kokichi Muda because it's literally the same thing. Like, just imagine a whole army of these guys going around making presents, delivering them. I see it. It's perfect. Megumi, he'd be decent enough. I'll even put him. I'll put him above. He'll be at the top of decent enough. He'd be willing to do it. He would do it, especially for the kids. If Samuki asked him, like, hey, we have a whole bunch of kids coming over. Do you mind being Santa? You're like, oh, do I have to? And you're like, yes, Megami, you have to. And Megami would do it. He'd put on the beard and everything. He'd be a little bit bored. He'd be like, oh, yeah, whatever. You want this, want that, fine, whatever. Be a good boy, yada, yada, yada. He would be the most basic. Like, he would kind of be there for the 9-to-5 paycheck in a similar vein to Kusakabe. But, like, unlike Kusakabe, who may go along for the bit for a little while, or Gakuganji, who's actually interested in it, or Higuruma, who's actually interested in it, Megami's general disinterest with the holiday and Santa himself, he'd be like, yeah, whatever. I kind of don't want to do this, but Samuki asked me to, so I'm here. What do you want? I kind of see that, but he'd still be decent enough. Mei, awful. She would not want to spend her money on any of the presents. She wouldn't. She would flat out refuse. And she probably wouldn't wear anything ugly either. She's kind of in the same boat as mine, where she expects all the presents, money, be given to her, but she would not offer anything else in return. So she's pretty awful. But she wouldn't, once again, I don't think she would attack the kids. I don't think she's a liability. Or dangerous like everyone below her. Miguel, honestly, I'd say he's decent enough. His curse technique doesn't really allow for much support. But, like, he's fast. He's buff. He's even kind of enough. He's like Yuta under his wing. I could see it working out. Ghetto's daughter. So we're just gonna put him with Ghetto. She's honestly, she's a solid CLAUS. She was there for Rico every single year. She was doing the Santa outfit and everything. And Rico, until she was a young adult, never realized that she and Santa were literally the same person. So yeah, she's a solid CLAUS. Only reason she's not literally Santa is because she has no real curse technique to actually support. the mass delivery of presents. That's what all these guys have access to. He'd adapt, he can teleport, he has the army, he is the army, he is the army, he can fly, and he also has the army. Miwa, I think she'd be decent enough. She'd be willing to do it. She definitely did it for her brothers once or twice. She was like, "Oh yeah," on top of being whatever she used to do to try to support her family. She definitely was a mall Santa every once in a while, and she had to take care of her own brothers when they came, and was willing to get them their gifts and spend her hard-earned money on that. So she's decent enough, but once again, doesn't have the abilities or the proper determination to really be a solid Claus or literally Santa. Momo, once again, another decent enough. I could see her being willing to do it. It's just that no one would really fall for it. So I'll put her at the bottom. Geto's other daughter. I'm gonna put her down there. Nanami. But no, I can't put him at literally Santa because the racial technique does nothing for the present wrapping or present delivery. He'd be so determined though. Nanami would be so. I'm gonna put him at the top of solid Claus. He's right up there with Higuruma, where he would do everything. He may even shave his head bald to get the cap flowing over nice and smooth. He'd put the full beard on. He'd smile. He'd be sweet to the kids. He'd take all of his saved up salaryman money and buy all the kids presents. You know, Itadori, Nobara, and Megumi got the best presents ever. Oh wait, they never reached that point. But like still, I think Nanami would be a really, really solid Claus. If he just had like a slightly better curse technique for delivering presents, he'd be up there in Literally Santa because I know the man goes above and beyond for the kids at every single opportunity. Nabito, he'd be awful. He'd just be drinking the whole time. Even though he fits the perfect bill, he just has this guy do it every single year. He doesn't care. Naoya, he'd punch the children. He would not want to be Santa. He wouldn't want to put on the ugly fit. He wouldn't want to put on anything. He just would not want to do it. We don't know this guy. We'll just say he's kind of bad. We have no idea about him. Nobara, I'm going to put her in the same league as Mai and Meimei, where actually no. I'll put her at the bottom of kind of bad. I feel like she'd be willing to buy like limited people presents, but she wouldn't want to like ruin her hair or do anything with the Santa Claus fit itself. She wouldn't want to put that on, and also she probably doesn't actually like the kids all too much. We'll put her off. We'll put her right next to Mai, because I think those two kind of have a similar mentality, except I could see Nobara buying a present or two for like Megami and Itadori. Kamo, he tries. He really tries. He considers it like a clan head responsibility to be the best Santa Claus that he could possibly be. But of course, due to his limited nature as a human versus Choso's unlimited nature as a cursed human hybrid, he just can't push himself to the same limits with BM like Choso can. Grandma, no. Nope, she's going just above the curses. Nope. Ogi, nope. Help the children. Ogi's a threat. This guy, I forget. He's the guy who helped, or no, he watched Gakuganji defeat Yaga, right? Oh, another help the kids victim. I think he'd be kind of bad, but he'd try. He seems to have good intentions behind him. Reggie, honestly, I think he spent a lot. Honestly, I think Reggie would be into it. I think he'd actually be somewhat into it. He would just keep using contractual recreation to basically get two of everything, and he'd be really, really sweet to the kids. I don't know. He feels like the kind of guy who softens up around kids. Like he's rough with like teenagers and young adults, but if you're like 5 and under, Reggie will definitely support you. So yeah, I'd say he's a pretty solid Claus. Plus his ability kind of allows, like he just sends a truck around the world and gives it the command to deliver to every house safely. I'm not sure the truck would do it, but like Reggie would find a way. Nope. She'd be kind of bad at it. She would consistently break character and keep forgetting that she has a wig and just scratch it in front of the kids. Decent enough. He probably did as a part-time job once. Ryu, I don't know. I feel like he would literally, I'm going to put him all the way up here. He would literally do it because he would consistently get desserts. He'd be like boosting around the planet, flying on jets, just so he can get dessert after dessert after dessert after dessert after dessert. Just consistent milk and cookies. And he wouldn't mind wrapping the presents. Once again, he just consider it a way to try and stem off the boredom. Shoko, she'd do it, but she probably wouldn't be the best. Put her in kind of bad. She'd do it, but like would not be the best job at all. It would be a rush job. Literally a curse. This is Team Ghetto? Literally Santa. Same reasons as Kenjaku. Full access and availability to do it, full willingness to do it, the capabilities of doing it, everything. Team Ghetto's got it. Sukuna. Oh, would you look at that? Would you look another guy who would literally eat, like, remember what he said when he first showed up? Women and children. Like, dog. Dog. I don't think I need to convince you that Sukuna is a walkability. I said he would literally be like, "Yes, come," and like he would open up his belly mouth and just be like, and he would immediately consume them. Nope. We cannot have Sukuna as Santa Claus. That man would be the menace of menaces. I'm sorry, no way, Sukuna is Santa Claus. Talk about he tried. Oh, he tries so hard, but he'd be trying to make too many jokes, and like he'd keep like trying to remove the Santa costume or do funny stuff with that, but ultimately it would just end up being awful. He would channel Santa Claus. He is quite literally the Shiesty sorcerer. That's what Ryu is. Ryu is Santa Claus, by the way. That's why no one's ever been able to beat it. Literally a curse. Help the child. Tengen, kind of a liability. I think they're a little bit too freaky now. Toto, no elaboration needed. Inumaki, awful. Liability. He'd speak something and accidentally detonate the children. Toji, help the children. He's going to rob them. I'm sorry, I'm kind of speeding through this because my computer's screaming. I don't want it to literally detonate. Ui, I'm going to put him in solid claws. The only reason is he's way too young and way too small. That's the only thing. If he was like a full-grown adult, he'd actually literally be Santa, because like Toto, he has a teleportation technique. I'm not sure how Toto would do it though, with needing to swap. I'll put Toto at like here in solid claws, but he'd be willing to do it, especially for Yuji. Mechamaru, once again, just part of the Mechamaru army, the Mechamaru Armada here. They would go crazy. Urume, here's the thing, right? They could either be down here with Sukuna, considering what they do, or they'd actually be pretty decent now. I don't know. I feel like Urume would use it to pass time over the years, guarantee white Christmases for some people. I think they'd be sweet enough with it. Uro, kind of the same vein as these four. I just don't see herself stooping to the level of putting on the Santa getup or anything like that. Teen Gojo was kind of mean. He'd be kind of bad with it. He would do the Santa stuff just like Adult Gojo would, but he wouldn't be able to teleport, and he'd also not put on the outfit. Itadori, he'd try. He'd try so much, but he'd be so bad. He'd be kind of bad with it. He would not be smooth and buttery with it. Yuki, she's decent enough. She did it for Toto. Yuta, he may literally be Santa. Take all the perks of Rika, like the teleportation, the guidance, the ability to make presents numerous points at a time, and just give it to a guy who would actually do it. There you have Yuta. Bernard, I'm just gonna put him down there. But Panda has to be at the bottom. Dido, liability. He's fully capable of doing it, but he'd probably slice the kids in half. Naoya, this is even worse. Help the children. And finally, Mio, another liability. So, there we go. The official and definitive Jujutsu Kaisen character ranking Santa tier list in order. If you think I am wrong, I'm sorry, you're wrong. No, I'm kidding. If you made it all the way to the end of this video, computer, please subscribe. I beg you. If you made it all the way to the end of this video, please leave Nah, I'd Santa in the comment section down below. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please remember to leave a like, share, comment, and subscribe. And make sure to hit that little notification bell so you do not miss out on any videos that come to the channel. Also, I do have a Patreon down below where you can support me for as low as $1 a month. Get things like exclusive videos, early content, and more. You also now become a member of the channel for as low as $3 a month to get the same perks and more. So those perks will include the live reaction to the very next chapter of Jujutsu Kaisen. Now, I'd like to thank you so much for watching once again, and I hope you guys have a wonderful day. This is Dago the Pencil, writing off. I'd like to give a thank you to our $3 members, Recliner Plays, Red Wolf 4765, Greyhound, and Akid's Void. And I'd like to give another thank you to our $5 patrons, Victor, Sean, Midnight Gemlord, Kevin, DemXLND, and Igneal. And I'd like to give a chunky old thank you to our $7 member, Autumn's Morning Lazo. And I'd like to give another chunka thank you to our $10 patrons, Robbie Uchio, Joaquin, Idemokami, and China Doll 09. I'd like to give a hefty thank you to our $25 member, Alex Ice Rose. I'd like to give another giga gargantuan thank you to our $25 patron, Calvin Elder.